How Bizarre is intended for mature, open-minded audiences only. If you are easily offended, we suggest you turn this wacky shit straight off. Do you need some time?
Hey, dude.
All alone. Howdy.
How's it going?
It's November and it's raining, so I thought I'd sing a little November Rain.
I can't ever not see that music video when I hear that song. I don't know. I was just of the age where like it was magical to watch, and there was like a death wedding. It was raining. People were crashing through cakes. I was like,
jumping over cakes is like always one of the most. Yes, that's what a part is. It was always one of the most inexplicable moments. Is okay. It's rain, people. Let's calm the fuck down. We don't have to risk life and limb jumping over the wedding cake. But I get it. It was exciting. That was a weird era. MTV was wild, man. It started as just this completely chaotic, bizarre thing. Nobody knew what they were doing. A lot of it was super low budget, and video itself was new. Video cameras. I mean, really, and video editing. So some of that early shit. And then you got a little slicker in the 80s, late 80s, and then by the 90s, they were fucking epics. I mean, obviously, I think most of us would probably consider Thriller to be the first real, like, epic music video, right? I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah.
But
I can't think of one.
But November Rain was just a whole different level of... I think it was just too many drugs. You could tell that Axel was trying to... do something, he had some sort of plot, but it just I think it got lost in the plot. But it's still a classic video, and I love every time I see it. I got to stop and watch the whole thing. But
yeah, it's rock and roll, brother.
Do you need some time? Axel was always a weird singer, but something happened to his voice as he got a little older, and he just his singing style is so bizarre. It's like, it was like at some point he just started singing with his mouth too wide open. It was like he was never ever able to close it again. I mean, he was always weird. He's always doing that, it won't leave me alone, no, wow. Or knocking on heaven's door. That's not what I'm talking about. His tone changed. It completely fucking changed, and he just started singing like that. On heaven's door. Big guy to me, remind me of childhood.
So it's like he's singing with his jaw forward. So he's like,
maybe he got what is it? Tetanus, or is it tetanus or rabies that gives you lockjaw?
I don't know.
Maybe he got rabies. Did he get rabies from blowjobs?
How are they sounding on sound? Because they all kind of sound the same, but I see on low.
You sound great. I think everyone sounds great.
Perfect. I'll take that.
It's like one of our best mixes in a while. I usually have to kind of compress it a bit.
Lightning struck. Thank God.
Lightning crash.
Oh, God. Don't sing that. No. You don't want that stuck in your head. Oh, my God.
Closes her eyes. I kind of like that band. I kind of like that band for a little bit live.
It was decent.
They're catchy.
I think we all done a cover, though.
I've karaoke'd Lightning Crashes.
I think I've covered. I've karaoke'd it.
I'd like to hear that. God, we should do a karaoke night. That'd be fun.
That would be pretty wild. I don't think we've ever... Have we even all been out to a bar together?
Yeah.
Has that even happened?
I mean,
a million years ago.
I thought we went karaokeing once when I first moved to town.
Sharks.
Sharkies or Sharks, whatever it was.
Well, you and I did, but I don't think John Mark... Well, maybe John Mark and Lyle were there. Were you guys
I wasn't around.
I don't remember that.
Man, that would be fun. That's so weird. The things we haven't done together kind of sucks,
I tell people all the time, we talk when you hear us talk. We do. We got group chat mess. I think we just talked about this in the last show, but we got group text going, updates here and there. But then we get caught up here, and we try not to do too much getting caught up. That's all. I feel like that's all the show's been lately because we've been recording so rarely. But that's why. It's because we don't really sit down and get together or chat. But
it's hard because like me and you were the only one in the same town, and then like. We'd have to go like on an epic 4-hour or 3-hour drive.
But we're capable of it. It's sad that we haven't put that effort into it. I mean,
Well, it is,
we're all
but,
busy people, and Lyle's got
be
definitely more
back
issues
for
to worry
dialysis.
about. It's a real thing, but we could do it. We've done it before. We've all been in this.
Like, bye.
WenCon is probably I miss that because that was a good reason for us all to get together in person and doing the live shows. We only did a couple of those, but those were great.
Comic-Con too, and we did that. That was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that was that seems like a lifetime ago. Comic-Con. That was before Radar Station. That was before everything.
Yeah, nuts. Every time I see that video pop up, I was going like, "Hello, hello, hello." Comic-Con.
We got it pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the fun one. We did it twice, but that was the first time that we had an actual table for Tales from the Space Pod, the podcast that we were doing.
The toilet.
I was at the infamous toilet. Just some kid wandering by, saw a toilet on one of our pieces of merch or posters or whatever. Toilet.
It was beautiful. She just walked right up.
It made Christopher's entire weekend.
Tiny little hand and just said,
we're all just like, looking like, is that all? And then she just wandered off with her parents. But it's funny what resonates. And then John Mark was just off getting autographs and hobnobbing with some of his heroes. He knows more about the comic world than I do. I was very limited with my comic book reading as a kid, and it was all superheroes until the 90s. I'm a funny person sometimes when I get the way I consume, because most of my life at this point is acknowledging people who create things, and yet I'll read sometimes a thing without really thinking twice about who wrote it. I'll read a book without thinking which artist drew it. John Mark tends to pay attention to more of that shit, and so he knew, that's the guy from this book, and that's the one who did. And I recognized the books, I recognized the the novels and the comic runs, but I didn't recognize the name. It was like, it's funny how my brain works that way when that literally has become my entire existence. Anywho, we got a guest joining us tonight for the first time in a while, so we got to stick to a bit of a pace, but it has been a doozy. It's been a doozy for all of us, but nobody more than buddy Lyle here, who once again is lucky to be alive. You got pulled out of your fucking apartment like on a stretcher this last time. That's how you went to the hospital the last time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It was weird. I'll just wrap it up really quick. You already know the pre stuff, that I spent at the time before, you know, the first time. And then this time was totally different. I went around, I was doing stuff later that day. I woke up, did the normal routine, but when I got out of the shower, it's like the tail end of the shower, something just clicked and didn't feel right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You ever have that where something just in your body just kind of clicks and you're like, fuck, something's not right, and it's not good, And so I just kind of carried on. And then throughout the day, I just kind of chilled out, and I thought maybe, maybe it's just I need a little bit of oxygen. So luckily I had some oxygen kicking around here, and I put it on and tried it, and see if it would boost me up a little bit, and it did a little bit. So I was like, okay, well, it's no big deal. It's probably just I lack oxygen, whatever. I'm sitting there, and I'm literally feel like I'm aspirated enough where I'm drowning in fucking the air, right? And I can't fucking get air. I'm freaking the fuck out, dude. I'm literally like claustrophobically fucking clinging to get air. And I grabbed my oxygen tank, and it was barely enough. And I cranked up the floor one. It goes to like 5. I plugged it in and fucking started using it, and I was like, okay, well, this is working for right now for the specific moment, but I can't stand up.
Yeah.
Because if I stand up, I'm going to fall down. And then if I fall down, I'm not going to be able to get back up. So I got to maintain sitting here, and I'm yelling at my brother, and he's thinking I'm playing a video game the whole time. Honestly, he honestly said that.
Turn your Call of Duty down, pussy.
I thought you were fucking just playing some video game. Help me, ambulance 111. Yeah, so I was like, he's screaming, fucking, I need help. I need ambulance, 911. He finally comes walking in, and he's starting to see. Well, no, he's starting to see what's going on. He's like, oh, fuck, well, we got to get him fucking ambulance. They come, and apparently, I was in I got into my computer chair, finally. after a big struggle and with the oxygen still. And I was using a paper bag with the oxygen in it to keep from hyperventilating, if that makes sense. So I was drawing my breath through a plastic bag with the oxygen inside of it to keep me awake, coherent, because I was passing out, dude. All I was seeing was white speckles on the sides.
Damn.
And so I'm freaking out, and fucking they come, and the first thing they say, dude, I'm sick. I'm fucking obviously sick. I got dialysis. I only kidney barely work. I have about 15 fucking medications that are on the top of my desk. Different medications that I take, every day, twice a day, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I take I got a pharmacy, on my desk. Nothing to get you that high, but it's something I have to keep to live,
Right.
And they're fucking rifling through it. Going, no, this all yours? I'm like, dude, I'm fucking dying here. Get me the fuck out of here, dude. I need to
You're
get
like,
to the
I'm
emergency
dying
room
here.
now. And I guess one of the ladies was enthralled by the old crippler or something. I don't know, but she just wanted to stay in my room the whole time.
Just like, I don't think we need to go anywhere. Click.
Well, my brother was trying to, because I was already in the living room. I was on a gurney by then, and my brother comes back to fucking lock my room up and grab, the keys to his car and follow me over to the ambulance. And she's sitting in there in my bedroom, like fucking hanging out by my fish tank. I feel like doing shit. I'm
Not
like,
a euphemism, kids.
Shouldn't you be the fuck out of my residence? But yeah, it was weird. He had to tell me that later afterwards. But anyway, I went to the hospital. I check in at the emergency room, and they automatically start feeding me blood. I'm at 2.2 on my blood platelets, which is pretty much dead. Anymore, if I would went to sleep that night, I wouldn't have woke up. Basically, is what it was.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty grateful, that I was coherent enough to keep myself coherent, hearing enough.
Right.
And
that your brother finally came in the fucking room.
He was there. He stayed there till like 3 a.m. I mean, fucking, I got admitted about 11:30. He stayed there till.
I've been
3.
curious about how attentive he is to your needs, so that's good to know. I didn't.
Well,
I don't. I don't know your guys' relationship. I don't know your brother.
If it's it's similar to me, you and yours actually.
Yeah.
Except yours is a little more loving.
Well, we got closer as we got older. Yeah.
So I stayed there for, what was it? I just got it released. So I got released on the 28th, and then I got sent back into the hospital at the 2nd. And so I spent all from the 2nd till it was like a whole week.
I felt like you were in the hospital pretty much all of October.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, for all intents and purposes. Yeah.
Yeah, and they did a bunch of tests. Like I said, they went in through my mouth and down into my guts, and then in my butt and up into my guts. And the one thing they didn't get was the middle section. So what they did while I was there is they made me swallow a pill that had a little camera in it. It was a camera pill, and this camera pill is just the size of maybe a dime, and you just got to lug it down, and you wear a belt. It's a tracking belt around your stomach.
Wild.
And what it does is it records video all the way down, all the way through your system.
Imagine the peeping you could do with that, Ron.
Nuts.
That's some peep.
I just ordered 6 of them.
Inside of people, you could
Yeah,
peep.
that's a little too close.
You want to be at least 6 foot back.
Whoa, put the brakes on. Put the brakes on, baby.
Whoa, too close. Too close for this guy.
Yeah.
So anyway, and it was horrible, dude. I don't want to lie to you. It was a fucking excruciating pain. It went right through into my intestines.
The pill going through your system. How big was it?
And it's about the size of a dime, maybe a little bit bigger than a dime. Like if you were to circulate it, make it round. I fucking puked for the first time in years.
That's interesting because it's, we swallow shit that's bigger than that, but it gets broken down. Of course, this is designed to not be broken down. So we ain't used to that sensation, having something actually be in your guts. Oof.
Well, and in all purposes, it was riding right over the top of my ulcer too, because my ulcer goes right at that bend where it goes into your
ulcers. That sounds like a
lower intestines.
Fresh hell.
So anyway, I threw up, dude, and I was like, I remember laying back. I was trying to relax because they were trying to keep me relaxed, like relax. And then like 15 minutes after it went through that little hole, fucking, I started vomiting, violent, and it was blood. It was all old blood, so it was all black coffee ground looking shit.
Oof.
This is horrible, dude. And then so fucking once it was done, I don't even remember extracting it out. I didn't see it or anything like that. But what they found was right at the curve, right at that curve right there where they found that ulcer. They found a little trace of blood. So they didn't find the ulcer yet. This hasn't even found. All they saw was a little trickle of blood. So they went down in there through my gullet, back in through my mouth with a scope and a cauterizing unit. And they found on the side wall of my stomach where there was a big cluster of rogue veins that were all clumped together. And then so the doctor's thinking, oh, this has got to be it. We just hit jackpot, baby. You know, I'll be golfing by noon, you know, and he
jackpot, baby.
Yeah, he fucking cauterized that fucking empty wall cell with those veins, you know, just fucking cauterized it, burned it, and then thought that was it. But then he was like, when he was done with the surgery, he goes, I don't really feel 100% sure that's where the blood was coming from. So he had to go back in through the gullet, and they went down through, and they found through, you know, because your stomach is always changing. It's like a water balloon in a sense, but more malleable. So it's got muscles in it, and as it contracts, it's like a little wave. It's like a waterbed when you were a kid, and you jump on it, and it makes all that. That's what your stomach's kind of like.
Mine
on the
certainly
inside.
feels like that as I approach middle age.
Right.
Middle age.
So he, anyway, she's running this scope, you know, it's like do, and she's trying to get down to the lower intestine part, and then she starts seeing something out of the corner of her eye. Well, within these folds, you know, these natural folds that your stomach does, there's a fucking ulcer. And so this ulcer, what she thinks was there's a rogue vein. So when it pops out, it's squirting blood, and then once you move a certain way, it might pop back in to that ulcer, and it'll quit bleeding because the strength of your stomach liner is a little bit strong enough to pinch it off.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem fixed now?
It seems fixed now. I haven't had any blood in my urine. I haven't had any blood in my stool. So it's a high five. Hallelujah. For sure.
I don't want to backtrack because we got to keep it moving, but
no,
I was curious about how long it took for that camera pill to make its way all the way out of you.
Well, I think it was like 12 hours or something like that. And 16 hours, something like that to pass through.
I've never been clear on that.
I don't even know if I did. They might be listening to us right now.
Did you see any footage of that?
I saw a little bit of it, and it looked like, I don't know, some like the head of my dick I've seen 1,000 times.
How the fuck? I'm so baffled by how it could see anything.
It's got
being
a little
so dark and
light.
so close. I know, but it's got to be so close to what it's...
Think of this. Think of a space helmet with a camera in it, in the helmet, and then the helmet has a light in it. So it's shielded.
Oh,
it's completely round and shielded.
Okay.
But as it goes down, it has light because it has light inside of the helmet. And it sees through the helmet, so it's just an open space.
So the helmet is opening whatever it's photographing. Okay, that does make sense.
And I don't know how they keep position, but they might, maybe because that's why I had to wear the belt. The belt probably held positioning where it automatically kind of shifted, like in a gyro. There probably is like a little baby gyro in there.
Yeah.
To make it make the
facing
camera face normal, you know, like it's going through your passages.
Yeah.
I bet. It's technology, baby.
Well, see, this is why I get so irritated when so many like just conspiracy theorists pull shit out of their asses. Like, look at what people are coming up with. Look at what we're able to do to save lives and to figure out what's going on. And then some fucking dipshit with a YouTube will just sit there and, it's all wrong. It's all made up. It's frustrating because people are dead. Can you imagine how much time and passion and work and money and studies have had to go into just creating that one little device that probably helped. Well, it's not probably thing. Helped save your life. That's what these people are. You know, we don't have to throw them all. It's a baby in the bathwater thing. I think we all have hesitations about the big pharma thing, and we know that they could fix certain things, but they keep us going on and on. But these people do good things, and they create amazing things. And it's been a frustrating several years for those poor motherfuckers. Like, well, what am I doing any of this for? But anyway, well, hopefully we keep you out of the hospital for a fucking while. A good long while. No. Jesus Christ. Well, let's get moving on. I got a whole pile of news stories. We decided we're just going to do one probably a little bit longish episode tonight because I got time to record next week. And I do kind of like doing some sort of stupid little Thanksgiving-ish episode this time of year when I have time. So, Chris, you're done with soccer life now. Yes. It's life back to being good again.
Right in time for hockey.
Was that your last game, the one that you actually won?
No, we had one more after that, and it softened the blow of getting fucking bent over in that game too.
Oh, did you win that one?
Not good. But like me and Ember made like little trophies for the kids and certificates and shit, and had like a little pizza party for them, and they're all real happy. Some of the parents are just such assholes. Oh my god, I can't believe it. But tough. It's fine. You know, we're glad we did it. It's all over. I'm already looking into putting him into something I don't have to coach that I can just support. So
yeah, absolutely.
For soccer, but yeah,
that's a whole different experience. Don't you remember how magical pizza parties were? Remember when you could have one at school? Maybe it was a holiday, or maybe it was just like the end of the year or something, or there was some contest and everyone got the right grade and you could have a pizza party and watch a movie. Like, that shit was so magical when you were a kid. Does it still seem like it's magical now? Kids have so many things these days.
I think so.
Yeah. The simplicity.
But yes, I mean, like, there is so much. Like, I took my kid to the little arcade tonight, and he was just fucking enthralled the whole time. He just loves it. Like, it doesn't feel like nothing, you know? But I see what you're saying, because they have access to so fucking much.
Yeah. Like, bitch, I got Uber Eats coming with what? Like, I got tacos. They're gonna stop at Little John's. Yeah, Little John's. Is there a Little John's? I think I was combining Little Caesar and Taco John's. John Mark, you probably got some sort of King Gizzard update that you're just dying to get out before I move on, or anything else.
I don't know. I just been watching their streams. They're on their second leg of their U.S. tour, and they're just getting better every day. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the shit's just been unbelievable. And that's how I've been disassociating from reality the last few days. It's just like, I go to work, whether I'm at work or working from home, and then I do some stuff, and I'm like, okay, time to watch some King Gizzard. Just like be here for a while.
Avoiding social media is probably a good thing.
Number one.
It just feels good. Speaking of watching, this was one of the craziest fucking... October is always a shit storm for me, but I had to put 2 magazines out. I think I mentioned that on the last episode. Two magazines out in, I think, 22 days. And then we had our big burlesque show, which was fucking incredible. And then this last Saturday, we had our big art market where we did our first ever peep show tent with the radar dames. It was
what was that like?
Insane.
Like, was there an actual show going on in there?
It was a mini burlesque show. We had 6 performers show up, and then we had a couple people out front. A couple of the performers were the sideshow barkers. 2 of the male performers were out there like, $5 gets you 3 minutes, step right in, that old-timey thing. It was fucking awesome. And we had this little circus-y looking tent. We just doctored up one of those 10 by 10 craft fair tent, pop-up tents. And then inside we had like cozy lights. I borrowed this old antique chair that somebody bought when Radar Station went tits up, so there's a little mini Radar Station vibe inside. And then you walked in and there was this little sheer curtain, and the performers were behind that. And so the crowd came in, took a seat. There was a room for 6 to 8 people in there, and 3 minutes, and they got a little tits and ass show. It was a full-on little mini burlesque show. And it was a striptease, and then we'd have like 2 minutes for the performers to put back their clothes on, and by that time 6 more people were in line. Overall,
complaining about it?
Almost 200 people went to that little that
perverts.
Any complaints?
Any complaints? No, this thing is a 21 and older. It's a curated art fair by my friend Susie, who listened to the show once and claimed that all we did was talk about getting roadhead for 45 minutes.
Sounds about
Like,
right.
I
I
said
don't remember that,
maybe
but
25
put it
minutes,
past
but not
them.
the, well,
I
not
think
45.
I think I shared once.
We all
about
shared.
the story.
We all shared, but not for 45 fucking minutes. Anyway, she created this thing, and
Sure, the
it's
fuck didn't take 45 minutes. I'll tell you that.
and it's not that long a drive.
It was
But
like 5 minutes.
she hand curates this thing, and it's a grown up thing. It's an outdoor beer garden, wine garden with I think like 35 art vendors, food trucks. Between 2,000 and 3,000 people have been coming to this thing, and it's fucking amazing. It's the coolest thing that happens in Wenatchee. I thought people would need to come in and like, ooh, a peep show, to check that out after I've had my third beer. You know what I mean? Like, nope, I was wrong. 5 minutes after opening, people were already lined up to go into the peep show tent, and it was a tremendous fucking success.
That's great.
But I found a little time to watch some Halloween-y stuff, and I kept hearing about this Terrifier series. So I watched Terrifier 1 and 2.
How is it? Is it worth watching?
Yeah. Yes. The first one is it's pretty.
I've been curious about that too because I keep hearing all these things about like, oh, they're so fucking gory and crazy and blah. I'm like, I don't know.
You've definitely seen worse. I mean, in terms of the gore, you've seen more brutal movies for sure. But I got to be honest, and so have I, as you well know. The very first one is fairly low budget, and you know you can tell that there's, even in the second one, I don't think there's really any notable names, and that's kind of nice. Like, I like that. It's sort of an indie vibe, but some of it's a little cheesy because of that. But then the kill scenes are pretty inventive and pretty, you're like, no, you're not going to do that. Well, yeah, and now we're here. There is, at least it's one of those. And, you know, I don't have a clown phobia. I get why people are creeped out by clowns. This particular clown is pretty memorable in a nauseating way, but I recommend it. I haven't seen Terrifier 3. I think that's still in the theaters. But
yeah, I think so.
I kept hearing so many good things about that, and I'm like, what the fuck is Terrifier? I got to be honest, I hadn't really heard about Terrifier until I was hearing people talk about Terrifier 3. And one of them was streaming on Amazon, the other one was streaming on like Peacock or something, but they're out there. And that, you know, they're not scary, they're not super scary. They're just pretty fucking gross and hardcore. For as low budget even as that first one was, they did a good job with the effects. And again, just what there's a thing that your brain will do when something is so fucked up, like the thing that's happening is so fucked up that your brain, even the concept is shocking. You know what I mean? And it's like, that it's like you get away with a little bit lower budget on the effects, but I thought it was really well done for what they had to work with. Not great movies by any stretch, but it's not really torture porn. It's just, there's no rhyme or reason. It's there just to make you squirm. Yeah, and it works.
Have you guys heard of The Substance? Have any of you watched that yet?
Yes, I keep hearing good things about it.
Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley and Dennis Quaid. I did. I just watched a couple days ago. Oh my god, you guys gotta fucking check it out. It's like,
all right, okay.
I don't know if I can even describe it. It's just like, it's think like Cronenberg, like body horror style, like kind of. Yeah, that's kind of what I was feeling. And then there's like this weird. So there's like this kind of Cronenbergish body horror stuff going on, and then there's like just the way that they shot it and like put it together. There's like I would say like a Verhaven-ish sort of feel to like the satire, not really satire, but what they're trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Like the vibe you get from like a Starship Troopers or RoboCop, where like there's certain elements in it that are exaggerated to like say something.
Yeah, and it's kind of like beauty standards and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, because kind of the main plot is like one of the characters has this like an exercise show, like a Jane Fonda type show or whatever. So she feels like, and like she's a little older, and she hears people talking about like, oh, we got to get someone new in there, you know, someone younger or whatever. And so like the things that they do around like the show itself, like the exercise show, what they call it, and how they shoot like the exercise portions of it. It's just like really over the top and crazy. I recommend it. It's one of those movies where you kind of think about it for a few days at least after you watch it, and you're just like, what the fuck, what's going on?
Yeah,
what's happening? Which is what I like. When you watch a movie, you like think about it for days or weeks afterwards. It's always a good sign, whether you enjoyed it or not, right? If you're thinking about it, that's right. A good thing, right?
Yeah.
And I did actually enjoy this. I was like, oh, that was it's on it's just some channel called Mubi. You can, like, if you sign up for a 7-day free trial,
I thought it was
through Prime
Netflix
or whatever, you can watch it for free if you sign up for the 7-day free trial. Okay. Otherwise, I think you have to buy it right now.
Interesting. Yeah, it's on my list because I've heard good things.
Definitely recommend it.
Before we move on, I do have to say that we unfortunately took to our audience to ask them somehow or another, us testing out on the air, as it were, the depend, and it is depend. I've had so many arguments this week, and like, it's depends, Ron. It's not depend. It's like, it's depend. This is actually something that pops up in the Mandela Effect threads all the time. We all call them depends because there's a stack of depends in your box of depend. But it is depend, and we joked about trying them on all together on the show. Now, we don't have to pee at the same time, but
about it. One of us thought it was a fun, good idea, and the rest of us were appalled.
I just think think of the time we'll save without having to take our pee break before a weird trip. I'm thinking about it now.
6 minutes, yeah.
But I'm like, there's a lot to the depend thing, and I want to see how well these things wick moisture from a crotch. And what better way to do it than with your bros on a international podcast. And so the very first response that I saw on Facebook was, please don't. I think that might have been Katie Surgery, Jeff. Like, please don't do a live depend test. And then everything else, and there weren't a lot of people weighing in, but everything else was a solid
I choose the bear.
Yeah, everything else was go for the depend challenge. It's not really a challenge, but so maybe we can do this next week for our big Thanksgiving show. I don't know. We won't put a date on it because someone's going to have to remember to go buy depend in each of our quadrants, and that's something that Lyle, I'll hook you up so you won't have to go. We'll meet up and you can get your diaper from me. And you guys can just be on your own honor system.
We will totally have ours on. Yes, it'll absolutely be on.
So we're gonna have.
I would have believed you.
We'll do this together.
It's like, wow, sure feels weird. How would you describe it, Ron?
Well, it's very wet and warm. Oh, now it's getting colder.
Seems strangely lonely. I can't put my. So we'll be doing that soon. Thank you all that weighed in on that. The things we do for our 400 people audience. But they've stuck with us through thick and thin, so we're gonna give them what the people want. All right, with that out of the way, put my cigar down now. A whole bunch of wacky headlines around the globe happening here. Here's one that just popped up. A fugitive falls into investigators' lap. This is from NPR. Authorities got a lucky break when the murder suspect they'd been pursuing for months fell, so to speak, right in their laps, through the ceiling of the building where he'd been hiding. The U.S. Marshal Service said agents captured 20-year-old Dario Wilkerson, Dario, I've never seen that name, on Monday, months after a warrant for his arrest on charges of first-degree murder and reckless endangerment was issued in connection with the fatal shooting in Memphis, Tennessee. The task force investigating his whereabouts tracked him to a residence in Memphis, the agency said in a release. Law enforcement agents didn't have to look long once they were inside. Quote, Wilkerson attempted to hide in the attic as the USMS searched the residence. However, he fell through the ceiling, it said. Officials said Wilkerson is not injured in the fall and has been taken into custody without further incident. Now, when you see the photos, it's not like dude was in the ductwork or, normal type of like sheetrock, or this was like the kind of bullshit what's it called? The little panels, the little foam panels, like at every office space. Mm-hmm. And he crawled on top of one of those right as the investigators were searching that one fucking room. Is this stupidity or bad luck? I suppose a bit of both, because he could have fallen in one of the rooms that they weren't immediately searching, but I had to include that one, even though there's not a whole lot to the story, because fucking hilarious. And these are mostly headline tales the story. Tales the story. And speaking of one such, here's a headline. Woman addicted to eating her own hair.
Oh, God, I hate these.
Giant hairball with tail removed from her stomach.
Oh, my God.
Now, this is a story that the headline does tell most of the story, but I am afraid that there is a photo coming your way.
No.
Yeah. Now, it probably doesn't look like what you're imagining. It's not what I would have imagined. This is a perfectly and surprisingly tidy ball of hair just being punched out of her intestine. Did you guys get that photo?
Fuck off.
How is it that fucking clean? Like, that is her literal gut cut open. There's blood and flesh everywhere. You can see, I guess, part of her leg or something down below it, but maybe it's being cradled, and I don't know what's happening in this picture. But I didn't send you the other one because for some reason it wasn't copying. But if you can imagine, so this might be the lower part of her gut. Go into her intestine up a little bit further and you'll see the tail. This thing created like a head and a spinny little tail. So the tail was winding its way down behind her in the intestine, and they had to cut open her intestine to pull the hair out. That's how much hair this woman is eating. I mean, I don't want to make fun because this is clearly a mental illness, but I was shocked that that's what our body does to hair.
Is this a recent thing?
Within the last year, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of stuff like this before. Like, people do this kind of weird shit, and yeah, I've heard of something like this hair eating thing, and having to do some kind of surgery. But it was that a long time ago, so that's crazy.
God. Well, what's the show? There was a show as well. Oh, it's The Boys.
My Strange Habit or something. No.
I know what you're talking about. The Boys, one of the characters in that pulls her hair out. She doesn't eat it, but she pulls it out constantly.
Oh, yeah.
But hair pulling is a big thing. I mean, she must be eating so much of her fucking hair to get a ball that size. But when your cat yaks up a fur ball, it's always in, if it was down in their gut, like it tends to get, it comes out like a perfectly wound little hair turd. This is kind of the same thing, except it's just this big giant ball of hair. But with a cat, it's not clean. Like, it comes out all goopy because they kind of throw it up. I guess maybe that's the difference. This wasn't thrown up. There's no other nastiness clinging to it. It's just, it literally looks like they're shoving a clean ball of hair into her as opposed to pulling something out of her. You know what I mean? It's so clean. It was surprising to see that. Next up in this week in theater news, you guys probably saw this. It was all over the place. Audience members need medical treatment after sex scenes at the opera. Now, that seems a little ridiculous and reactionary, but this was pretty bold. This is right off NPR. More than a dozen opera goers required medical assistance following a risque performance that depicted explicit lesbian sex, real blood, and naked roller skating nuns. I'm in so far. Sancta,
this sounds like a radar station.
This is a very radar station thing. Sancta Susanna, a radical feminist opera organized by composer Paul Hindemith, debuted to crowds in Stuttgart, Germany on October 5th and will run for 7 performances until November 3rd. Just finished up. The polarizing one-act opera dates back to 1921, when it first caused a scandal, and over 100 years later, it has been staged for the first time. Crowds attending the premiere barely managed to scrape through the first performance, however. The opera, which shows a, quote, radical vision of the Holy Mass, unquote, lasts just 1 act, during which performers tell the story of a nun discovering her sexuality. But their method of portrayal left 18 audience members requiring medical assistance during particularly shocking scenes. The Daily Mail reports that they needed assistance after suffering nausea and shock, and in 3 cases, a doctor had to be called to their aid. Those requiring medical attention had seen real sex acts, painful stunts, both real and fake blood, the infliction of bodily wounds and piercings, all carried out on stage. Once I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. Well, there are all sorts of people that will pass out at the sight of real blood and piercings, putting needles through things. These are playing into actual phobias. So it started to make a little bit more sense. It goes on to say, Florentina Holzinger, an extreme performance artist, is behind the adaptation of the controversial opera. This modern performance sees its all-female cast playing nuns who strip off their habits throughout the course of the sensual, poetic, and wild show. But scenes grow increasingly bizarre, including when an actress with dwarfism dressed as the Pope is raised into the air and spun around by a robotic arm, while another... Huh?
Where can we go see this?
It's in Stuttgart, Germany. Yeah, I've got tickets for all of us.
Yeah, it sounds better than most thing that's on Netflix.
Oh my God, this sounds fucking incredible. While another performs Eminem songs dressed as Jesus. This is wild. But the opera runners were unapologetic.
My name is Jesus.
Chicken Jesus.
I'm the only Jesus, the one. Skinny Jesus, the one. Okay. I guess don't need to make it more blasphemous than the story already is. But the opera runners were unapologetic about the ill effects the audience experienced at the 18-rated show. 18, that seems a little young for this, if I'm being honest. An opera spokesman told the Daily Mail, those affected by the performance An opera spokesman told the Mail that those affected by the performance, that the people affected, this is worded weirdly, that the people affected, were sitting in the front row and would have known what they were letting themselves in for. During if the marketing was done well. During the opera, the central character, Susanna, discovers her sexuality, eventually pulling down Jesus's loincloth on the crucifix in a scandalous climate. At one point in the show, the naked nun even has sex with the icon. Like, Jesus Christ, no pun intended. This is bold. Other performers are seen hanging out of the bells as clappers with just bare bottoms or heads visible. One is seen lifting a sword in the shape of a crucifix and pushing it down her throat, and others go into other places. It's like, holy fucking shit, man.
You know what this reminds me of is Queensryche Operation Mindcrime, but on acid.
Oh yeah, kill the priest.
Right.
It's good shit. I saw that Jeff Tate is working on Operation Mindcrime 3. I'm like, well,
shut up.
Could be good, at least the studio version. But I never heard part 2. Did you guys?
I did not. I think that I was just like, there's no way that it can even compare, so I just never bothered.
You never really liked anything from Queensryche beyond Mindcrime, yeah? Like you weren't big on Empire.
No, like I started listening to them, like, you know how it is when you're first like getting into metal, or you find it, you're like, this is the thing that I like, so you're just kind of exploring, you're trying to like figure out what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And so like back in the day, you know, when we were doing that, we had limited information. about what was that. So it's like, oh, I think this is that. So you like check that out and you're like, then. So like, I listened to like the first couple of Queensryche albums and it's like, it's okay, you know, but I couldn't tell you anything on any of their albums except for Mindcrime and was it Empire, just because that shit was all over the radio.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, Mindcrime was like, they're one of those bands for me where it's like, that's the album and that's all I need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I get you.
Well, I've always been a guy to like those type of bands that like to tell stories in their
concept
song.
albums. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like Iron Maiden. Fuck, you got me sold, dude. Queensryche Operation Mindcrime had me sold.
Yeah,
dude, this is awesome.
And Mindcrime was very much like The Wall in a lot of ways. Some of the elements, not the overall story, but some of the elements for sure. Well, you know, the Queensryche was always called in that era the thinking man's metal band. And I thought that was fair because I think a lot of the stuff that we loved was kind of stupid. You know, it was like either they were just singing about nothing but fucking, or they were singing about things that we knew they weren't really into, like the devil or, you know, dragons and wizards and stuff. You know, it was fun. But it was kind of dumb, and I acknowledged it then, and I acknowledge it now. But I loved it then, and I love it now.
Are you thinking like Manowar?
Yeah, Manowar or Dio.
Dio.
You know, this is great shit. Halloween. These are fucking rad
awesome
bands, making incredible music. But you know, singing about dragons. And then along came Queensryche, and it was this story about, you know, religion and corruption and corruption of power and a whole bunch of like conspiracy theory stuff in there, and it was like ahead of its time.
It's just like I swear, you know, like I know they made some videos and stuff, but I swear, like in my mind, like I think I created,
and that's what's better,
a film.
Yeah,
you know?
It is a movie. I mean, there's even dialogue in between the songs. It's like they're like Lyle said. That's
like,
probably what popped in.
I feel like I've seen those scenes. You know what I mean? Like I can see them. You know, it's crazy.
That's what I love about them, for sure.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's good
Use
stuff.
your imagination.
Well, this is kind of a crazy tale here, and perhaps oddly timely. Beloved Russian spy whale. I believe it's
what?
Hildemir.
Can you say that again? Where?
Rare.
Spy whale?
Fuck you, where? A beloved Russian spy whale, I believe this is pronounced Hildemir, is found dead.
That's a whale.
After mysterious circumstances, believed to have escaped a past life as a Russian spy, and he was found dead over the weekend in what animal rights organizations say were unnatural and suspicious circumstances. The beluga, whose name combines the Norwegian word for whale, Heil, and the Russian President Vladimir Putin's first name, rose to international prominence after he was discovered by fishermen off the coast of Norway in 2019 wearing a camera harness that read Equipment St. Petersburg. Do you guys remember this? I don't remember this. But it seems like something that should have been on our fucking radar. But 2019 radar station going away, and then we were about to hit COVID, so I can see why we missed this one. But it says, theories about his mysterious past sparked headlines and intrigue, but it was his friendly demeanor that won him scores of admirers in the years that followed. Haldvemir worked his way along the Norwegian coast, frequenting fish farms and actively seeking out human interaction in the process. He was very interested in people and responded to hand signals, according to the nonprofit Marine Mind. The gentle giant, who measured some 13 feet long and weighed 2,000 pounds, even went viral several times for retrieving a kayaker's dropped GoPro camera, playing fetch with the rugby ball, and playing with an underwater drone. Now, I saw the footage of the rugby ball. I remember that viral video. Sorry, I'm losing my ability to talk. That third beer is really kicking in, Rashire. Haldvemir's case inspired the work of at least 2 nonprofits dedicated to marine conservation, and his protection, specifically one whale, founded in 2019, advocated that Haldemir's protection from tourism and other dangers. Other marine biologists concerned that the impact of relocating the whale formed Marine Mind, which tracked Haldemir his movements and focuses on raising awareness about marine species being used improperly, which is really something to think about. NPR has reached out to both organizations for comment. With the permission of Norway's government, One Whale was actively working to relocate the whale to a wild beluga population in the Arctic, where belugas are normally found. Remember, this thing was up somewhere in Scandinavia. The organization had recently announced plans to transport him in the coming weeks. But hopes for the whale's safety were dashed on Saturday when he was found dead in what One Whale is... that sounds like I'm saying what One Whale said, but that's the name of the organization. And what One Whale said was the heavily trafficked waters just outside of Stavanger, Norway.
Do you know what a white whale is?
Oh, boy, do I want to...
Yeah.
What?
It's when you surface. Yeah. It's when you surface upside down in a pool and you let your wiener come out first.
Mm-hmm.
So white whale.
See, that'd be a pink whale for the Ronster. Yeah,
white whale.
That's my particular hue. Goes on to say, this morning after receiving a sighting, this is long, and but I think it's fucking fascinating, and I got a couple things to follow it up with. So this morning after receiving a sighting report from a local, our team arrived to find our buddy Halvamir floating peacefully in the water. Marine Mind announced on Instagram it is not clear what caused his death, and it's believed that he was between 15 and 16 years old, which is half of their average lifespan. Who knows what this is? You know, this could be... It was a camera that somebody strapped onto a whale. Could be as simple as that. But there's so much more detail to this, that this whale was trained to communicate in so many different ways and trained to interact and engage in so many different ways that it's an interesting mystery of who was actually behind the putting a camera on this thing and sending it off into the wild blue waters. But this also made me think to look up, there's got to be other known incidents of animals being used as spies. And there were lots of things popped up. I found this little list on PopSci, and it mentions dolphins. And it even talks about how dolphins, there's this whole program to get dolphins to kill. You know, we joked about that on the old show, like dolphins with lasers. Remember that shit? That was an actual program.
Did they talk about the German Nazi dogs? Zero.
Oh yeah, that wasn't in this. They weren't spies, but they were they were definitely supposed to, or maybe they were supposed to be spies.
It wasn't there bats, like bats with bombs on them?
That is the very first one on the fucking list. That's like right out of the cheesy 1966 Batman show. And just as it sounds, in 1941, this is right off of PopSci. In 1941, a dentist named Lyle Adams landed on the idea of strapping bombs to the leathery flying mammals. His apocalyptic vision: think of thousands of fires breaking out simultaneously over an enemy city of 40 miles in diameter for every bomb dropped.
Jesus.
Years later, Japan could have been devastated, yet with small loss of human life. Lytle was able to get his idea to the National Research Defense Committee, whose members were wholly convinced of the feasibility of this airborne scheme. In March 1943, they began testing Project X-Ray, turning hordes of Mexican free-tailed bats into bombs. They faced some engineering troubles and set at least one building and one car on fire. But by that December, the project was canceled and a new kind of atomic and animal-free weapon was on its way, of course, ending World War II. But they also mentioned pigeons, which would surprise nobody. You know, carrier pigeons have been used since the dawn of communique. But they also, at one point, a couple, Russia and the U.S. apparently were trying to basically do something similar that they tried with the bats, to get pigeons to basically be little bomb or fire-starting kamikazes. But this next story grabbed me: Operation Acoustic Kitty. It reads, yeah, it does have a sad ending. In the 1960s, the CIA was hard at work on turning house cats into head-to-tail listening devices. It went like this. a veterinarian would sedate a small feline, cut them open, and insert a microphone into their ear, a transmitter radio into the base of the head, and run a thin wire along the cat's coat all the way into its tail, which was seen as
I hate this already.
her nature's little antenna. Yeah, it's so fucked up, but this happened, and the hope was that these kitties could casually be deployed to the Kremlin and pick up Soviet intelligence without notice. But by 1967, like so many pet projects before it, Operation Acoustic Kitty was canceled. Many attribute the abrupt end of the experiment to the fact that at the outset of a test run in Washington, D.C., the experimental radio cat was immediately hit by a car after its deployment.
Oops.
Poor little kitty spy. Least successful spy kitty of all time. And I'm kind of glad that one had to die as a sacrifice. If it had been a success, who knows how many kitties would have suffered at this fucking horror. This is our government that's doing this shit. Yeah, this is real. Look it up. There are more details to it, but I left some of them out. But it does seem that they only had a couple of actual models, if you want to use that phrasing, of the acoustic kitty before they pulled the program. Anyway, crazy shit. All right, where are we at time-wise? I told our guests we'd be calling by 9:30. Let's see. Maybe I'll pick and choose. Well, here's a tiny one here. A little story that's essentially the headline. A 77-year-old slice of Queen Elizabeth's wedding cake just sold at auction. What do you guys think that went for?
Okay, say it one more time.
I'll say that it's much lower than I had expected.
$1 million.
A 77-year-old slice of Queen Elizabeth II, the one who recently passed.
Is that pounds or dollars? What are we talking?
Yeah, we gotta
this
go.
is dollars.
I'm gonna say 10 grand.
10 grand.
I'm gonna say $160,000.
John Mark, what say you? For a slice of the old Queen. $1 million. Well, Lyle's definitely closest. It only went for $2,800. I thought that this is it seems like that would go for a lot more. I mean, it's a slice of Queen Elizabeth II's wedding cake.
Is it frozen?
Preserved in the freezer?
Is it encased in lucite?
It seemed like it was, it was packaged in a box bearing the Prince Elizabeth silver insignia on it, and included a printed letter from the bride and a decorative doily. No word on whether the buyer plans to eat it, but that would be something that I would pay-per-view. Right, just watch them eat it and then just hang out for 3 hours.
I have a perfect bottle of champagne on my shelf. I would pair with that.
Oh, I know where that bottle of champagne came from, and then you're gonna have to pay pretty high to get me to pop that fucking cork. But I think I gotta imagine it was frozen. I mean, pretty much since the invention of freezers, there was this tradition to save a little piece of your wedding cake to cut, not for 77 years, but to cut open on your 1 year anniversary and have it, which is a stupid. I don't care how fresh or cold or well preserved your cake is. That cake is going to be stale and taste like ass 1 year later. I can't imagine eating it 77 years later, but
imagine the freezer burn.
The freezer burn in 77 years. Get out of the city. Well, here's one that makes me rather proud of my Irish heritage. A large crowd duped into attending non-existent Halloween parade in Dublin. So it came after a website posted a parade would be taking place in the city from 7 p.m. It appears the claims were then spread further on social media, including sites such as TikTok. Irish police dispersed the crowd after appealing for those in the area to leave. A Gardaí statement on X said, "Please be advised that contrary to information being circulated online, no Halloween parade is scheduled to take place in Dublin city centre this evening or tonight. All those that gathered on O'Connell Street in expectation of such a parade are asked to immediately disperse." And commentators online joked about the event as being a ghost parade and therefore perfect for Halloween. But to me, the funnier thing is, I don't know why. Parades are funny anyway. We just show up and look at shit go by. But, 1,000, I think it was 1,200 or so people showed up to this thing, all lined up in the street. The thought of all these people showing up, finding their parking, hauling their chairs and their blankets and their snacks and their kids to the spot and just standing there looking down the street for like 2 hours and nothing's happening, like before someone slowly figures it out. I don't know. I found that to be a fucking hilarious story. I'm going to end with this one here. And it's a bit of a feel-good story, so it's a good one to end on. A porn star has been banned from 3 senior care homes after sleeping with the elderly residents.
Oh my God, is she making content? Where can I find it?
This content.
OnlyFans.
This is
old man OnlyFans.
Oh my God, it's genius.
Only Nans. Get it? No,
Depends. Only depends. Only depends, man.
There's a depend cum shot in there. There's got to be. Okay, this is from the Mirror UK. An adult film star says she earns a pile of money by cuddling up to older gents. But
fuck, who wouldn't?
Her quest to find fresh meat has caused her to be banned from several retirement homes in the area. The porn star's name is Tiff. She's 35 from Wisconsin, has made a career out of making steamy videos with grandpas. But it was her latest post on Instagram that really stirred things up. She told fans on the site, I have been visiting quite a few assisted living facilities lately, and so far, I've been banned from 3 of them in Wisconsin for banging the residents. Now I'm sneaking them out because it's the only way I can make my content.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is pretty fucked up, actually. The blonde star says that her high-profile productions, while not so popular with the staff, are a big hit with the center's inhabitants, as you might imagine.
I bet, yeah. But they're quite fond.
They are tired of being stuck at the home and regularly tell me that I make them feel young again with these shoots. I'll just bet. She goes on to say, even the grandmas agree because I'm satisfying their husbands, which they can no longer do.
Sure.
Tiff says that despite the setbacks, she's still on the prowl for new old blood at her local retirement home. My goal, she says, is to find new senior citizens who need some fun in their life that they can't get at home. Her fans in stitches by her anecdote flooded the comments section with praise for her unique service to the elderly. So phone up Gramps and tell him the good news, I guess. Keep an eye out for any young, attractive blonde that seems overly willing to make sure you got all of your needs taken care of. Sneaking them out of the home is pretty next level because that could be like an insurance thing. It could be a medical thing.
Well, what if she kills some guy?
That's
gives him a fucking heart attack.
That's a concern. Yeah.
It's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Maybe she's having them sign some forms. I guess that's part of porn. It sounds like she's doing a quote unquote legit operation.
Well, and you remember the other thing too is that like STDs are very rampant in retirement homes because everybody's fucking each other.
Yep.
So you got that to kind of deal with too. So that's a dangerous job she's in.
Being a porn star in general, they get tested before every shoot.
She does, yeah, but they don't.
Yeah, who knows what she brought in? And most STDs, they're not that big a deal. Little antibiotics and then a couple weeks off. Sounds like she's making plenty of money to take a couple weeks off. But yeah, what a crazy fucking story. Keep you posted on that. So who knows? Maybe eventually life in the nursing home will leave some opportunities that we hadn't thought of before. Anywho, let's go ahead and take a quick break. I'm going to let our guest know we'll be calling her soon, and we'll do some weird triv. Now, see, if we were wearing our Depend, we could just call her right up now and bring her into that realm.
We should do a topic we've never broached before is ask her how she feels about Roadhead.
Yeah, we might get 45 minutes out of that, Susie. Faith, are you there?
I am here.
Oh, hello. Success.
Well, hello there.
Voice. Hello.
Welcome.
Can you hear us good enough here?
Coming in loud and clear. Over.
Shall we do it? Hello.
You gotta say over.
Hello. That didn't work.
It doesn't really work on digital. God knows we tried. Remember back in the Skype days where you couldn't talk over anyone at all. Just cut everything out.
I got a limiter on too.
Well, Faith, thank you for joining us. When we last spoke, you wanted to be on the show. When you found out that I did a podcast, I thought, I didn't even know you listened to the show. And you're like, I don't. So I want to know, have you taken the time to listen to the show and at least see how this segment that you're going to be part of works?
Man, I really wish I've had time to, but the answer is no.
That's fine.
Girl.
I am fully coming in blind.
It's okay. It's pretty straightforward, but I was curious if most of the people that have done this have heard the show. But so we'll give you a little round. Oh boy, the alcohol is kicking it. See, the fun thing about joining on at this part of the show, Faith, is that this is where the alcohol really starts to hit. But Christopher gives us a little quiz on random news stories, random facts about the world. Kookier the better, and he'll give us multiple choice. Now, I usually start, and then we end with the guest. So you'll get the opportunity to hear us all rambling about why we're choosing what we're choosing. And sometimes that can help. Other times you're just going to want to go rogue and pick your own answer. But I think that's probably the only explanation needed to be given, yeah?
Welcome to the jungle, Faith. Let's get weird.
You're going to die. Full circle. Axl Rose beginning, Axl Rose ending. Yeah. All right, let's get to it.
Do you want to keep a little theme song, Ronster?
Oh, let's kick it up.
It's Weird Trivia with Christopher F. Hart, a man from Florida, poop things, square shit in nature. Don't get me started on the goddamn brown hair. It's Weird Trivia that might get Christopher fired.
Do you think you'll listen to the show that you're actually on, Faith?
Maybe. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're probably going to fast forward to the end.
Good answer.
Yeah, I guess we'll see how it might depend on how you do for weird trivia. So let's go ahead and get on.
I appreciate your honesty. Yeah.
There's nothing to hide.
All right. Let's get right into this, guys. 4 questions. You'll go last, Faith. Just follow their lead or don't.
Okay.
Question 1. In 1997, David Schwimmer was in between seasons of his hit TV show Friends. He was offered a lead in a movie role, but turned it down to work on other projects. He calls this one of his biggest missed opportunities. What movie did he turn down? Was it A, Toy Story?
All right.
Was it B, American Beauty?
As who?
I think the lead is Kevin Spacey.
No. Huh.
That movie's so fucked up watching it now.
Oh,
I
yeah.
totally watched it
on so many levels.
Not
Yeah.
age well.
Oh, yeah. That was fucked up then, but super fucked up now.
Yeah.
Was it C, The Shawshank Redemption?
Okay.
Or is it D, Men in Black?
What year was this?
Late 90s.
David, is it Schwimmer?
Yeah, David Schwimmer.
For some reason,
Isn't
it sounds
Ross,
right, but
Ross from Friends.
I know who it is.
Yeah, he's the one with the really long face, right?
Yeah. that's the
Quite
guy.
the long face, Davey.
Oh, no.
For some reason, I was thinking. I think I was thinking it was Swimmer.
Pivot.
Schwimmer.
I think it's
That's quite
Schwimmer, isn't it?
No, I believe you. I just
Well, now I'm doubting myself.
I think you're right. Now, but I was like, Schwimmer? Does he mean David Swimmer of Friends? But then I'm like, no, I
Again.
think it is Schwimmer.
What role did David Schwimmer turn down that he regrets?
We got a Schwimmer here.
A role in Toy Story, American Beauty, Shawshank Redemption, or Men in Black? Ronster.
I cannot see the Schwimster in the
Terminator?
Kevin Spacey role in American Beauty. As I mean, we're talking about the leads. American.
Yes, I would imagine. Yeah.
American Beauty.
Yeah,
I
Toy
can't
Story
see.
has a couple leads, I
Toy
would say.
Story.
Man in Black has a couple leads. Shawshank has a couple leads. American Beauty has a couple leads. Yeah.
Boy, those.
I think it'd be really funny if he was supposed to be in Shawshank Redemption.
I think so too. Well, see, there's two ways of going about playing this game, and that is to try to answer what is real, to try to find what Christopher made up, and that gets easier sometimes the longer you know him, sometimes no, but also to find the story, the thing that is the most newsworthy, because these are stories for a reason, and that is why I'm not leaning toward Toy Story, because that wouldn't be such a big surprise. Not that that's even an angle in the question. This isn't like a surprise thing. It's just a role he turned down that he regretted. Oh boy, I'm talking myself back in circles. I might be leaning more toward Toy Story now. Okay, I'm torn between Toy Story and Shawshank
Redemption. Okay.
What was the fourth one?
Men in Black.
Oh, see, he could be just about anything. You know what? I'm gonna go with Toy Story.
Okay. I'll put you down
Like
for
that makes
an
sense
A.
for him, and he just regretted it. I don't think it's a shocking story. He's just sad he didn't say yes.
John Mark.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, I couldn't tell you when any of these movies came out at this point in my life. Although I've seen all of them.
You're not up on the Schwimster's IMDb?
Multiple times. But I don't know. For some reason, I'm just leaning towards Toy Story.
Okay. I'll put you down for Toy Story as well.
I have no reasoning to do this, but I'm going to say Shawshank.
Oh, okay.
Shawshank Redemption.
It's
as
just
the Timothy. What's that actor's name? Timothy.
I can't think of it. Fuck.
I love how we all
Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins.
There you go, Tim Robbins. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Could have been Schwimmer though.
Well, listen. If he was a Schwimmer, he could have just gone down the drain pipe, and it would have been a 20-minute movie. All right, Faith.
How you feeling on this?
You know, as much as the mental picture of him being in Shawshank Redemption gives me a nice internal chuckle, I think his voice is very recognizable. Like, if you were to play me an audio recording of his voice, I would be able to pinpoint, like, hey, that's the guy with the long face from that really annoying comedy
a friend show
that everybody
My
watches.
monkey, etc. Yeah, it's a very neurotic sort of voice.
We were on a break.
we were on a break. And the pivot when he moves.
Toy Story as well. I feel like that feels right.
Okay.
So you go with Toy Story? Okay. All right.
3 toys, 1 redemption.
I am very curious why it seems people who watch Friends also watch Grey's Anatomy. I don't know why those are usually.
Chris, you're a big Friends guy. Did you get into Grey's Anatomy?
I did not. So that's been broken. Sorry, Faith.
You're an outlier.
Advertisement.
Maybe I should get into it though. Maybe I just one step away.
I don't know anything
we will
about
go
Grey's.
over the answers to all the questions at the end here and see how you guys did. We're going to move on to question 2. This musician was speaking to Guitar World magazine, and he made this dissatisfaction known about often being left out of rankings of the greatest guitar players. He says, I usually don't make those lists, he expressed in the interview, or they'll put me behind somebody who I could play circles around. Who said this? What musician? Does that make sense? He was unhappy with how he's being ranked on guitarists' ranking lists and whatnot.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the respect he thinks he should be getting. Who was it? A. Mike McCready.
Pearl Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say that he is kind of underrated, honestly.
I think so too. I think he's a fucking brilliant guitar player, dude. He's one of my favorites.
I mean, you can't say Pearl Jam is underrated, but
no,
you don't
like
hear people talking about him and Stone are both.
His licks are fucking just dope.
Yeah.
Is it B. John Mayer?
Meh.
Fuck that guy.
It
That
does
guy-
take a lot of ego to make a statement like that.
That's
That
true,
does
though.
sound like him. That guy creeps me the fuck out. And his little butt wiggle dance that makes all the ladies croon. I'm just like, I don't.
What?
I don't.
Butt wiggle dance? I don't know.
Oh,
about this.
let me find a GIF and I'll send it over the chat. And, not too. Well, no, it'll
You're
ruin it.
not thinking of Oh,
Well, he plays.
I know John Mayer.
okay.
Yeah, he plays.
You want me to keep going?
At the Gorge like twice, like for like a whole weekend. He like
My favorite thing, he's like notoriously a shithead, and like somebody once was like, "You're so beautiful," like commenting on an Instagram photo he put up, and this girl was like, "You're so beautiful. How are you single?" And his response was just, "Google me."
Google me, bitch.
Wow.
I'm a rock star.
I like fucking love that. I was like, you're self-aware at least.
Yeah.
All right, continuing.
He plays with the Grateful Dead.
Yeah,
I've heard
he
that.
has.
Yeah. He is like accomplished guitarist. He really
No,
is. A great
he's a
He's
talented
good.
guy, but I can't stand his voice. I can't stand his song. Daughters,
Body is a wonderland.
Stop singing about daughters, you creep. Daughters. In that voice, you know, if you're gonna sing about daughters, you can't be daughters. Oh, I gotta find the video of him doing the fucking butt wiggle dance. You're gonna die. Keep going for now.
Okay, we've done Mike McCready. We've done John Mayer. Is it C? Billy Corgan.
Billy.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That also-
he is pretty full of himself as well.
Or is it D? Joe Perry.
Oh no.
Joe Perry.
Don't say that.
Oh, he's
I
pretty
I
well
hope he's not
celebrated.
sad.
Yeah, he's pretty well celebrated. He's got some of
Yeah,
the
he's
most famous
good.
solos in rock and roll history.
You would think.
Yeah, Aerosmith, man.
Corgan's interesting because you could make an argument that he is somewhat underrated, but he's not like he's not technical in the way that Joe Perry is, or even John Mayer, or your Slash, or he's not that kind of guitarist, but he was an innovative motherfucker.
Well, he's kind of Kurt Cobain. He kept his shit simple and simple work.
I feel like I know him more for his voice, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Less
no, for sure.
guitar licks.
Well, that's interesting because that could feed into why we don't talk about him as a guitarist. I'm leaning toward Billy Coe. I'm also leaning toward. See, John Mayer's funny because I talked about that documentary not long ago about typewriters. It's called California Typewriter. And I just went down this rabbit hole of being obsessed in a romantic way with typewriters, and I found this documentary at the right time, and it's a great documentary. And I don't like John Mayer, but what he had to say about why he bought a typewriter and why he uses a typewriter to write songs, I thought was really eloquent, and he's well spoken. He's got a lot of likable traits. And I think that he's probably self-aware enough. I mean, like that thing you just said, Chris, Google me. You'll find out why I'm fucking single. I think he might be self-aware enough to not be that kind of douchey. So I'm torn between Billy and, God, what was the first one?
Mike McCready.
Yeah, boy, Mike McCready. And he's kind of a diva. He has a lot of temper tantrums on stage. I'm gonna go with Billy, but it's a 50-50. I bet it's Billy or Mike.
Okay. John, Mark, who you gonna go with, baby?
I'm leaning towards Billy, although he kind of seems like the orange herring, but that's really where I want to go.
His pumpkin head tone.
Yeah. I'm gonna go.
I have heard him say things kind of like that. Yeah. Go ahead, Lyle.
I'm gonna go with Billy too.
Ooh, look at this.
A little Billy family.
I mean, because he had the whole fame of Pearl Jam and everything like that, and playing with Temple of the Dog. I'm sure he's had other projects too. It could be possibly, but it seems like Billy has not been in the limelight, ever since he had his stardom. You know what I mean? He had that "Despite All My Rage" song, and then
Pearl Jam never stopped being huge.
A generation. That song held him a generation, but that's it. That was the only song. It was like a one-hit wonder.
No. They had hits off Siamese Dream. They had 1959.
Yeah, there were more.
Tonight. Like, there was a ton of hits off that one album.
Yeah, they dominated late 90s.
Yeah.
And even early 2000s, Ave, what is Ave? We must never be apart. That song. They had hits, but they were, like I said, Pearl Jam kind of never stopped being huge. They've been this massive thing forever. since their inception. Smashing Pumpkins isn't the same thing. All I know is I've heard Billy Corgan talking sort of things like this. But so here's the thing, Faith, you can go with us and not have anything to lose, or you could take a chance and go against us, and this might be where you pull ahead if you're already behind.
I'm gonna say John Mayer.
All right.
Because I feel like that statement would be warranted for him because he actually is a very talented guitar player.
Yeah.
He does have a pretty notorious hubris as well.
Yeah.
So
I can't find the dance, and it's making me sad because you guys need to see the fucking dance.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Dave Matthews?
I don't think I need to dance.
Dave Matthews doesn't dance, does he?
He does this weird little like chicken man dance. It's so weird. I'm gonna find it and send it to you guys. You can be like,
there's the meme.
Fuck.
There's a meme that shows Dave Matthews doing that dance.
There's no reason Dave Matthews should be dancing like this.
There's no Dave Matthews song that warrants him doing this shit.
It's so weird.
I'd like to see that, actually. Anything that makes fun of Dave Matthews.
Check.
Okay.
Hello.
Mass following for Dave Matthews. I still don't understand how that man sells out
God
a
bless
3-day
you.
festival every
I
year.
could write a fucking book. Yeah.
All right, question
Sarah
3.
and I have long-running jokes about making fun of Dave Matthews. Yeah, go ahead.
It really doesn't make any sense to me.
No. Oh, yes. 3.5 hours of this. Oh, that's what I want to hear. Absolutely stunning.
Yes, more of that.
Fucking nuts.
Okay. Pop sensation Olivia Rodrigo asks all men she's out on a first date with this question. And if they answer yes, she believes they might be too full of themselves and won't offer them a second date.
Oh, this is good timing because I got a date with her coming up.
Oh, good. Well,
I feel kind of sleazy learning this insider information, though. But
it's okay. We're gonna prep you. I think you're gonna be surprised.
Okay.
Well, maybe not. Okay, what does she ask them on the date? And if they say yes, she isn't considering a second date. Is it A, how much do you tip your waitress on average?
Well, that's a good. Wait. Okay, go ahead.
It's a judge of character, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's a
how
great
much
question.
They would tip. Yeah. Is it B, would you ever want to go to outer space?
Okay.
You know I love that.
Is it C, do you think you could fight a lion?
Now we're getting deep here. Like, this is some philosophical.
Tigers and bears, my friend.
Could I fight a
Tigers and
lion?
bears.
Sure. Anyone could fight a lion. Could I beat a lion? Is that the? See, this could be one of those Schrodinger's type thing.
Or is it D, would you allow me to pay for our dinner tonight?
Would he allow her to pay for the dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm
Again.
gonna need the question again.
Olivia Rodrigo asks men she's on a first date with this question. And if they answer yes, she believes they might be too full of themselves and won't offer them a second date. Again, does she ask them, how much do you tip your waitress on average? Well, I totally fucked that. Yeah, I know. I just realized I fucked them.
That's what
it's not A.
That's where I almost stopped you.
Freebie for you guys.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I was writing this in between feeding the kid.
Why,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
I do tip my waitress.
Yeah, that answer is not the correct answer, y'all.
full.
Is it B, would you ever want to go to outer space? C, do you think you could fight a lion? Or D, would you allow me to pay for dinner tonight?
This changes everything. I don't get how saying yes to any of them would make you seem conceited or full of yourself.
I felt the same way. Yeah.
Because
hey.
I would love to go to space.
Yeah.
I guess saying yes to razzling a lion shows a certain hubris, but
it's called prowess, my friend. Prowess.
If I definitively on a date said yes, I would fight a lion without hesitation. I think I would find that impressive.
well,
Okay.
you can't
The
really say anything wrong when it comes to women talking to men, so that doesn't count. You got to flip the genders. Like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Razzling a lion. Yeah, she's a good one. So sex but flipping the script, I'm trying to find the how you turn that into going to space, razzling a lion, or I'm sorry, what was the last one?
Let me pay for the meal.
Let me pay for the meal. I don't see how you can make any of those really about being conceited, but I'm going to go with fighting a lion. But I still think it's a trick question because of the wording. Could you fight a lion? If the wording was, could you beat up a lion? Could you win? Could you fight and be victorious with a lion?
I mean,
easy no for me.
If you're gonna, I think it's the same. Like, could you fight a lion? Like, that to me says, well, I either could fight a lion and die or could fight a lion and win. So yes, I could fight a lion. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's no distinction if you live or die. Just if you could fight.
Oh, I could fuck up a
Bare
lion.
knuckled that lion.
He'd kill me, but I'd get a few licks into that bitch. Maybe that's what she's going, but I don't know. This is confusing.
You'd be trying to clean it like a mama cat licks. It'd be different.
That would be a smarter approach.
Yeah.
I'd be trying to turn it into a spy cat.
The big hole.
Okay, Ryan's going with, could you fight a lion?
Did you call me Ryan? Did you rhyme me with lion?
Yeah, I think you did.
Ryan's going with lion.
I'm fucking baked.
Yeah, this is the good kind of train wreck at this point.
I'm gonna go with the space question.
Oh, I'm gonna be pissed. I don't know if I know who Olivia Rodrigo is, honestly.
I don't think I know.
You have to know who she is.
She's
like
learned
everywhere.
Yeah, she's a new pop star.
She's the it girl right now.
I never know anybody's name, but if
you'd like her, you like her. She's fun. She's a little cutie pie too.
Not if she thinks that I'm conceited for wanting to go to space.
Well, we may have drops.
I don't think she's in King Gizzard, so I don't know who she is.
Fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Lyle.
I'm going to go with space only because I think somebody that actually is in more outside the box of their own little world that could actually like look up at the stars and realize that we're just a rock on a fucking orbit around the sun and God knows what the fuck is out there. You know what I mean? I think it's a little bit more open. They're a little bit more open with their decisions and discussions and things in general.
Yeah, but that would be a turnoff.
Well, no.
I mean, by this question, the question is, which would she consider to make you look like you're full of yourself? So if you said as I know you are, Lyle, a deep thinker looking into space and imagining things, if you told her, yes, I would love to go to space, she would think that that's a strike against you.
You know, in this...
like those rich people that were in the submarine.
Oh, yeah. And they toasted.
Oh, that's too soon. They're toasted.
They got toasted.
Man, that story.
Imploded is the good
imploded.
word?
Yes.
Yeah, imploded.
Yes, what a way to go. So what are you feeling, Lyle? Does that change your answer? Or are you still going to go with the space thing?
Well, I think it kind of fucks up my answer, doesn't it?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you understood the.
I missed the part of the question.
Yeah.
Thinking.
I think these are all great questions, and if you say yes to all of them.
Real quick. What was the answers? There was the tipping. Yeah. How much?
Oh no, he took that off the table. That was the fuck up.
Yeah, that was the fuck up. Oh, you worry about that one. That one never happened. All right, Lyle.
I'm paying attention. But
would you want to go to space?
That was
Do you think you could fight a lion and presumably win? And would you allow me to pay for the meal tonight? If they were going to answer yes to that, she believes them too full of themselves and won't offer a second date.
Maybe she doesn't want you her to pay the meal. Maybe she doesn't want to buy the meal.
Okay.
Seems like
put you down for the meal.
I'm doing it.
Faith.
I think the meal too, because if he was to say no, I wouldn't, then she might flip it back and say, "Well, I'm a grown-ass woman. I can pay my own bills."
Right.
I feel like that's a losing game, though, because if you say, if she's asking, would you mind? Right? Isn't that? Do I understand?
Well, it's
that?
the same thing as chivalry, dude. You know, that's pretty much dead these days. You don't open a door for a woman unless she knows it's coming, right?
Chivalry is definitely not dead in this household. I open the door for myself and I close it.
You know, I have to say,
back door.
I do feel bad for men these days because it seems like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It's the way it's been for a long time.
I have been glared at and yelled at for holding a door open for women. But I hold the door if someone's like right on my ass and you sense it, you know, either you hear it or you sense someone's right on your ass. I'll hold the door open, mostly just to get them to fuck off my ass. So it's not that I only do it for women. But I have gotten
open for everybody.
Yeah,
like, constantly.
But I have gotten glares from women doing it. Like, I can open my own door. It's very rare. It's a rare occasion.
As a female, I open doors for everybody, but I open doors for men too.
Yeah.
And I've had some men not know what to do. Like they just stand there and they go, "No, you go." And I'm like, "Well, I'm holding the door. Just walk into the building."
That's fucking funny.
My masculinity.
Yeah, I think that might be what a woman just held the door for me today at the pack to go get my check, and she was like well ahead of me. But that's kind of a pet peeve of mine too. I don't care if you're what gender you are. If you're gonna hold the door open, I need to be right up on you. If you're gonna hold the door open and I haven't even crossed the fucking road yet, now I feel like I gotta run. You know what I'm saying? Now we got a problem. Now I feel like the pressure is up to me to run, and the Ronster doesn't run. The Ronster looks like a medical condition if I try to run. And
the nuances of social niceties.
Well, I feel like when you go to the gym, that's like almost like a pass. Like you almost always do it. Like I do anyway. Like hold the door for people. Like when I'm going to leaving from the gym. You know, it's just a thing. You know, it's.
Well, I think it's a common
conscious
courtesy.
thing. I just always just do it. It's a common courtesy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to be nice.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what. So, Faith, what was your logic on picking the dinner thing? Like, you think. Because the answer is if she.
Her setting it up as a trap. It's a trap.
Okay.
Did you hear the music playing, Ron?
Okay.
Music playing and they're playing you off the stage, Ron.
No, I don't hear anything. Are you holding the door open? You trying to make me run across the street, bro?
I am holding the back door open. Question 4.
Right.
Here's a Nintendo question for you guys. Classic Nintendo shit. This will be easy. This will be a fun one. Nintendo knew they had a hit character when Mario first appeared in a video game in 1981. Since then, he's been in countless games, movies, and commercials. I'm going to list 4 things about the Mario Brothers franchise. 3 of them are true. Only 1 of them I made up. So again, I'm going to list 4 things.
All right.
So 3 of them are true. 1 of them is made up. You're looking for the made up one. Is it A? Mario and Luigi are not just brothers, they're twins.
I thought they were lovers.
Really hoping you were going to say lovers. Look, I got it.
And they're gay for each other.
Totally gay.
Gay Italian brother. Plumber lovers. You know.
That's not all they were looking for in the back of that castle. No,
Mario used to be a carpenter before they decided to make him a plumber.
Because he likes to lay his pipe, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right.
And then he became a porn star.
Still utilitarian.
Is it C? Princess Peach was initially named Princess Opal.
I thought you were going to say oatmeal.
Princess
Oh, that would have been cute.
Opal. That's my mom's name.
Opal, yeah. No, that's...
Or is it D? Bowser was actually designed to be a big ox before he became a spiky turtle.
Is he a turtle?
Again. Yeah, he's big Bowser. He's a big-ass turtle.
Mario
Koopa,
is so fucking confusing because it all stemmed from Donkey Kong. And so we all call the character that you play in Donkey Kong Mario, but it's not Mario. Yeah. That's Jumpman. They call that character Jumpman. Mario didn't technically start until the original Mario Brothers, which isn't the
Jesus,
it's the one.
Chill out.
It's the one where you're just. Do you remember where it's just one screen?
He was Jumpman.
God damn it, he was on my goddamn
So there are
Game
6
Boy.
ways you can look about this, okay, folks? We got about 45 minutes worth of dialogue here. No, but this is. I'm serious. There is a. Because and Jumpman was trying to get Pauline.
Do it in the voice.
I have to hear the spit, otherwise no go.
Do I have to? Guys, I don't want to do it. Fine, I'll do it in a voice. So Jumpman has to get his girlfriend Pauline from the beach that we know as Donkey Kong at the top of the stairs. But
everybody knows.
Everyone calls Jumpman Mario, and they call Pauline the princess. You got to get to this. Okay, I can't possibly. I can't do it. I can't keep doing it.
Okay.
People always call them Mario, and they called her the princess, but that's not what it was. But it's the exact same looking characters as Princess Peach. So you're saying that Princess Peach... What was the Princess Peach answer here?
That Princess Peach was initially named Princess Opal.
Okay, so that doesn't fit with my Pauline little bit there. And I never heard anything about Mario being a carpenter, but I believe
What was the first one?
Mario being a carpenter.
Mario and Luigi are not just brothers.
Oh, yeah.
They're lovers. Twins.
That's a me.
That's a me and Mario.
Who would be top and who would be bottom?
I'm gonna go down this pipe now.
It depends on who goes down the pipe first. I guess it's just.
I would think Luigi. I think Luigi
would be
Mario. You think so?
Really? I think a Mario, little man.
He's like
Mario's
a
the
bear.
top?
He'd be like a gay bear, like, you know.
Yeah. Mario could be a little bear. Luigi's
a power top for sure.
Yeah, he's a power top.
That guy.
So in all of the earlier,
he's hanging down his knee too, by the way.
There's only one of the early
leg.
Remember we did that live show and I had that diagram. Somebody had like mapped out Luigi's dick from the indent in his pants in Mario Kart. It was
he had a fucking dick.
Fucking dangling.
He had a dick.
That's what powers his cart.
That's his firepower.
His third leg.
If we're talking NES, you know, Super Mario Brothers 2 is the only one where Luigi really looks different than Mario, but he is taller. And I guess in subsequent sequels, if you don't take... Although, was Luigi in Super Mario 3? Could you play as Luigi?
I think so. Yeah. I can't remember.
2 players.
Fuck.
But it's just Mario as green. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm just going to fucking guess and say that... I'm sorry, run through the answers real quick.
Okay.
I got a little distracted when I was breaking things down and
getting worked up over here.
Put my slide ruler away.
3 are true, 1 is false. Find the false one, the one I made up.
All right.
Mario and Luigi aren't just brothers, they're twins. Mario used to be a carpenter before they decided to make him a plumber. Princess Peach was nope. Easy for me to say. Princess Peach was initially named Princess Opal. Or Bowser was actually a big ox before he became a spiky turtle.
I'm torn between the ox and the twins, but in the interest of somewhat brevity at this point, I'm just going to go with that they're twins. I mean, that makes sense because they were literally the same sprites at one point.
Well, again, you're looking for the one that's not real. You're looking for the one that's made up.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, the made up one.
The
made up one. 3 are true, 1 is right.
Oh, fuck.
Or wait, what?
Okay.
Twins, carpenter, opal, ox.
I'm going to need you to do the question again and then go through the answer.
Oh my fucking god.
I'm going to go with ox.
Okay.
Bowser was never going to be a fucking ox. That's my
okay.
But he probably was. And I'll tell you why after the show.
I'm going with Bowser used to be an ox.
I'm going to go with Princess
John
Opal.
Mark and I have the same answer.
And that's a bad one because it's probably a wrong one.
Princess Opal. It's pretty.
No, I think about it, yeah.
Okay. Faith?
I'm going to say Bowser's an ox too. I know nothing about video games, but that seems right.
Okay.
I feel like I'm alone on my little Mario Island.
It was before the game was made, though. Yeah, I was like in preparation for the game. They were going to make it.
It looks like he could be ox-like. It looks like that they could transfer.
Yeah.
No, I think so too.
Let's go over the answers and find out. Question 1. In 1997, David Schwimmer was in between seasons of Friends. He was offered a lead in a movie, turned it down to work on other projects, but calls it one of his biggest missed opportunities. The movie we were talking about was Men in Black. He was he offered the role and turned it down.
Him and
Would have been him and Tommy Lee, I'm sure.
Oh, he would have been Will?
Will Smith, yeah.
Huh.
I would have rather seen it the other way, I think. I think I would have rather.
I think it
Tommy
makes
Lee
more
was
sense as him being Will, actually, but
because Tommy Lee was like the old veteran, you know?
Yeah.
Well, Tommy Lee being in the movie, but like.
I was hoping he was going to be that weird, demented farmer that's like foaming from the mouth.
Oh, what's his name? Vincent D'Onofrio plays that guy.
Long
doesn't he?
face,
That's so
even
funny.
longer, and then splits into two. Yeah. Was that Vincent D'Onofrio?
Okay. I think it is. The one that's like drinking stuff and it's like I got an alien in his body or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
I love
I think it is back. Maybe I'm wrong. Nobody got that right. Whiff on number 1.
Okay.
Moving on to 2. Speaking to Guitar World, this musician made his dissatisfaction known about being overlooked on the rankings of greatest guitar players. He says, I usually don't even make those lists, or they'll put me behind someone who I could play circles around. We were talking about Billy Corgan. You guys couldn't.
Oh, okay.
Because you sniffed that one right out. Ron, John, Mark, and Lyle with a point, but don't worry, Faith. This is still anybody's game. Question 3.
Yeah,
Olivia Rodrigo asks all men she's on a first date with this question, and if they answer yes, she believes they might be too full of themselves and won't offer a second date. And yes, I had some issues writing this question, everyone. But the answer was, would you ever go to space?
What?
And she thinks that if somebody wants to do that, they might be just a little too full of themselves. Which I thought was dumb.
But, it is totally dumb.
Yeah.
Space is a very fascinating place.
Yeah.
I agree. Brave. I think you're brave.
Where I went with that, why I chose that answer, where I thought she was going with it, was thinking about dudes like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk.
See, now, John Mark, I need you to say it like this. If you're going to analyze how you got to that answer.
Racket.
And if that's where she was going,
Doesn't even
totally
do
got
it for
her,
a
but,
second.
yeah.
He's just like, okay, I'm going to finish my shit. Huh.
John
thought
Mark.
about it for a hot minute.
John Mark and Lyle got that correct. Moving them to
No,
2.
I missed that one, I think.
Oh, you did? That's what I put you down for, buddy.
He went with, what did you go with?
Then pay for the meal, I think he went with.
Oh, you're right. My bad.
That's
Okay.
John Mark
That's
might be
whatever.
right, actually.
Right.
The going to space thing now does have a little bit of stain to it because these aren't heroes that are talking about going to space. These are rich twats. Well, maybe that's what she's...
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm just the science of it all. Jesus Christ. Have you ever looked at the sun relation chart to like the other suns that are in this fucking in our solar system?
No.
It's mind blowing.
I don't
It's
look at the
fucking just the size, the girth of like the suns as they go.
Say it
The farther
again.
you go out,
Oh, I've heard.
the bigger they get.
I've
Oh my
heard, Lyle.
goodness, dude! Oh my
This is
goodness,
getting hotter and hotter by the
know,
minute.
I'm not trying to be hot and sexy right now, but I could put that voice on and we can get a little hot and sexy up in this place. But what I'm saying,
Even
these
if
are
I
great
was a-
balls of fire. You understand? Sweaty balls.
Even if I was a multi-billionaire, didn't they send that teacher up into space and she got blown up
dead
on
now.
live
Yeah,
television?
we need to
That
stop
sucks.
sending teachers up in space. That's been
We were there. I mean, I remember watching that when I was a kid.
that's been proven.
Yeah.
It was on TV when we were in our classrooms and we all had to go home.
Yeah.
You guys could all go home now. Shit.
Have a blessed day. Okay, question 4. Let's see who wins this one. Nintendo knew they had a hit character when Mario first appeared in screens in 1981. Since then, he's been in countless video games, movies, and commercials. Some things about the Mario Brothers that are true are they're not just brothers. They're twins.
lovers.
Mario actually used to be a carpenter before they decided to make him a plumber.
Yeah.
Bowser was actually designed as a big ox before he became a spiky turtle. But Princess Peach was never initially named Princess Opal. Lyle got that correct, giving him a point, which puts him at a tie with John Mark.
Oh my goodness. If you don't know, this is tension.
All right. Now, I have been dying to tell you guys a great tiebreaker I found, but I'm worried I already did it. So let me ask you straight up. Have I done a tiebreaker about seagulls with you guys yet?
I don't think so.
Not ringing a bell.
It's not
All
right.
right. I've been burning to use this one.
You
So,
could have
all
done
right,
it
guys.
last week and we don't remember.
You can all send me a message to play along here, but only John Mark and Lyle are in contention for a victory.
All right.
Faith, you can send your message to Ronster if you have his phone number. He can read your number out when we are collecting them here. You would take a guess here. In years, how long, on average, does a fucking seagull live to be? How many years,
Bam.
on average, does a seagull live to be?
Oh, wait, I'm changing my answer. No, I'm going to leave that.
Oh my God, Joe.
I hate seagulls.
This next one I'm sending you, Chris, is Faith.
Okay,
Faith
perfect.
I don't understand
His
why
faith
we
is
have
good.
seagulls.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Faith says 32. That's impressive.
Faith does
That's
say
an impressive wingspan and
Old
lifespan.
bird.
Roster says 9. Lyle says 12. And John Mark says 55 years.
55.
Hey.
Wow. The
Oh,
correct
we-
answer is 20 fucking years. A sequel will live to be 20 years old on average,
Wow.
which blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
Birds live a long time, dude.
Yeah, I guess so. Till you're free to Alka-Seltzer.
Never, you must never do that, folks.
I think some parrots can live to be like 75 or some shit,
Yeah, they
Oh
can.
my God.
or 80,
Well,
86.
I fell down this rabbit hole on Twitter where they were like, yeah, I've got a pet seagull that's been coming by for almost 17 years to my house. And I feed it every month. I'm like, what?
Turtles are like the same way. Yeah, turtle.
I
Lyle.
grew up next to the I grew up next to the
Okay.
ocean, and there's always seagulls around, and shitty jokes that we would play as teenagers is people would leave like garbage and food out, and if you put laxatives in the food,
Oh,
the
no.
seagulls would shit everywhere.
Now, why would you want to do that?
The
I was a shitty 16-year-old.
shitty 16.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Damn right. Damn right.
See, I can't have something living to be
No
22
regrets.
years old. I simply can't.
Congratulations, Lyle. You came out on top, buddy.
Wow.
Woo. I'm proud.
Crippler's
I
back at
did
it.
it. I did
Crippler
it.
is on
I
top.
did it.
Well,
Look,
that was
Mom,
an
I did
exciting and windy little round of Weird Triv. Well, thanks for joining us, Faith. I hope you had fun on is this your podcast? Is this your inaugural podcast, as they might say, your first podcast ever?
Yes, actually. And it was a lovely experience. 10 out of 10. I will write a raving review on Google, Yahoo, anywhere you can write.
Just go to
reviews.
Yahoo. That's the place that the kids go to check things out these days. It's like, I'm going to check out Yahoo because I need some more entertainment.
Does Yahoo still exist?
I don't know. Our old podcast was on Yahoo, and I can't get into that email. I can't get into any of the files. I feel like if you go to the old show on the
I'm on
podcast
it. I just
feeds,
Oh,
you'll
those old
be able
ones.
to see it.
Those old ones.
People's AOL email addresses still work, so
Yeah, there's this
Well,
sort of weird
Hotmail.
forever thing about certain parts of the internet. But what pisses me off is I can't go get my MySpace videos and pictures.
Yeah,
I'm so sad that I missed all those. Yeah.
I don't
before
have anything.
before I leave, can I share with you guys a fun icebreaker that I have stored in my head for
Please.
Yeah.
times?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
If you guys were unaware, May 11th, 1972, the world's loudest fart was recorded by the Guinness Book of World Records,
Yes.
coming in at a staggering 2 minutes and 42 seconds
Oh God.
and a decibel count of 118.1, which is synonymous to being front row at a rock concert.
Ow.
And when I say that fact has kept me up at night,
Because you're trying to beat it.
Was it a human? I
You just like
it
putting
wasn't
a
like
decibel reader.
Paul Hunn in where was he from?
I'm pretty
Flint,
sure we
Michigan,
talked about that on
which-
the old show at one point, but I don't
Well-
remember the deeds. I don't remember it being
and it
louder
hasn't
than a
been
rock show.
broken.
Well, you know, some people could actually do that. They could prep themselves for a fart, like a burp. I don't know how to do it.
Over 2 minutes at like
Dollface
Well,
could
like,
do
no,
that.
Maiden-
Well, no,
like
not
Maiden concert level, some volume.
My question is,
the
my
decibel
question
is confusing.
he had to have called the Guinness Book of World Records. They had to have come to his house or wherever he did this at.
Sure.
Like, he had to have planned it, which means that he can fart that loud on whim. On whim.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Which is pretty impressive.
I feel like he could be weaponized by our government.
I would use that talent in mini a swimming pool. And then I don't know what's going on.
Want this to be a jacuzzi, baby? Hold on.
Suddenly got the place to
balls are
myself.
just everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I just imagine you shooting out of the pool.
Hey, he could have been in Swiss Army Man.
I'm going to the moon like one of them conceited fellas. So do you use this as an icebreaker, Faith? Like on a date? If you're going out to meet with a gentleman caller? It's like, here's where I'm starting.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, it weeds out the people,
the chaff
that you would never bother with.
Because if you can't handle a very poorly timed fart fact, that's the tip of the iceberg. Being in close relationships with me. So
yeah, I think that is a good test. I think that's a better test than would you like to fight a lion?
Yeah.
Or go to space.
Listen, I know it wasn't a well-written question. It wasn't my best work.
No,
all right?
Chris, no, we're not ribbing on you, Chris.
But I'm looking forward to going back and editing this show and getting to the point where I'm like, but wait, I'm gonna need to. Oh, no, I'm just gonna let you finish, because that's where I'm like, that wasn't a yes or no answer. But I didn't want to impede.
As I was reading, I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Well, I can tell them that it's not A. You should have just let us guess anyway, Malik.
Well, you don't do it very often, so let's put it that way.
Yeah, give me that pass.
Yeah.
It happens once every like once. 4 times like a year or something. It's not. It's not like once every. It's like
which at this
seasonal,
point is like every 7th episode.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, let's get on out of here. Tune in next week. We will be discussing 9/11.
9/11 and
that's going to be a barrel
Tower
of
17.
laughs. Tower 17. We're going to talk about that. Faith, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
I guess, are we going to do... Well, I guess it doesn't matter because she didn't win. But we're going to try to do our championship round thing again with our listeners, yeah?
Sure.
We'll take the winners and do a championship round. But maybe we'll have you back on again now that you know how it works, because God knows you never listen to the podcast. But we might have you back on.
The gist of the game.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can talk about world records, because apparently
more.
I have a lot of useless information up in this noggin.
That's fine.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know what I miss is, I was just thinking about these not that long ago. I guess the Guinness book, like grandparents always had shit like the Guinness Book of World Records. Those were fascinating to just pick up and flip through. But they also always had these, remember the Time Life books? Mm-hmm. Like they would have like this whole series, dude. Like the Tales of the Old West. He once shot a man for snoring too loud. Sure. They had those great commercials, and there were these beautifully designed books. Like the Old West ones look like old leather, and I think they did like one of the Civil War. And those, before the internet, like encyclopedias and these kinds of books were so fascinating to just flip through.
I had a couple of buddies that worked at a call center selling those life book collections.
They were expensive.
For a while back in the early 90s.
Yeah. And it's just like all that shit. I mean, it's not obsolete, but...
Well, I can't remember the ones that I had. There were Time Life books, but they were from like, The Unexplained. Remember that?
Oh,
that
yeah.
Series?
UFO. That was Art Bell before Art Bell.
130, or it was like a 30 or 40 book collection.
Yeah.
And I still have that, actually.
Man, when I was a kid, when I found a stack of those, I was climbing into some recliner.
Well, there's some crazy
I was there for 3
shit, dude.
Fucking recliners.
I mean, they had one book like on witchcraft and Wicca. They had one book on UFOs.
They were spooky.
They had one book on
sometimes
Bigfoot.
they were violent. Like they were the ones of the war. They'd show like these horribly violent photos.
Yeah.
Sometimes they had little tits and ass. Yeah, it was exciting. You just climb up into a recliner, make it make all that mechanical noise. Those super comfortable big recliners that you don't see anymore always had some noise in them. That was a good time back in the late 70s, early 80s. Time Life books. Man, I might have to seek out some of those. Kick back. I need a recliner. See, the problem with recliners is they're the most comfortable things on planet Earth, but they're always so ugly. The comfortable ones are ugly as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't fit the jive of my living room or the size of my living room for that matter. But I really want a fucking recliner.
I want one because when you get fucked up, like your back's fucked up or something like that, you could sleep in them and you're okay. It isn't.
Yeah, you ain't sleeping unless you hear bang.
Right.
There's always like a spray.
Like,
pulling some of those back is like the most distinct sound. It's like, and then you were just in comfort. Pure comfort with a couple of Time Life books. Get the fuck out of town. Maybe Bob Ross was on TV. Shit. I need a recliner. I'm getting old.
Little trees.
I'm going to have to have an ugly recliner sometime. All right, y'all. Let's get on out of here. Thanks again, Faith, for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Enjoy your recliner if you ever find it.
Night, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. There are 6 ways you can look about this, okay, folks? We got about 45 minutes worth of dialogue here.